So there used to be one guy in this park that I'd talk to about trauma and stuff. Like, I guess he could see it in me, you know, that I was traumatized, and he was a really lovely guy, like empathic, and you know, he had healed and he had done all that lovely healing work that everyone talks about, and his situation was different though, you know. He had been through severe physical abuse by a really fucking monstrous family, and he had never done any drugs. Like, I've smoked a lot of doobies and drank a lot of alcohol over the years, not extremely, but just a bit, you know, in moderation. I've always tried to do it all as little as I had to as a cope, but anyway, this is relevant to something while I'm talking about that he didn't take any drugs. So he managed to heal really well, and he does all his meditation and everything, and but I was surprised because we were talking about the medical thing, and he said, like, this was like about a year ago, I think, maybe a bit longer, and he said, oh yeah, well you and I have had it, but other people, there's a few people out there that they don't think, blah, 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 you know, they won't have it, and I said to him, like, no, I haven't had it, and he was like, oh, and you could see it in his mind. He's like, oh, this crazy man here, like, it really changed. He was like really surprised, like he just assumed that I had the thing, and I said to him, like, you know, that was one thing I was actually going to tell him, like, no, I haven't had it. And yeah, we kind of backed off from each other there and changed the topic or something, but the reason I mention him is just like, I was surprised that he didn't see that psychogov for what it is, because he had been through a lot of childhood trauma, and I thought trauma was like the vital part to get you to see the abuse, the covert abusers that run this place, but he didn't. And I think maybe that's where the weed comes into it as well, or maybe it has to be I don't know if it has to be covert abuse, I'm not sure. I think you have to go through a lot of abuse and then smoking ganja as well. I think those two seem to be together, seem to be the key to like seeing the evil, and like the evil right at the top, you know, the covert abusers running the place. So this guy would totally well-meaningly, he would come and talk to me sometimes, and I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest, or appreciate it, because even though I know he was well-intentioned and all that, I never got to say my piece, you know. I think one time I did say, oh, it's all pointless because it's external frequencies causing my problems. And then he said something like, oh, or I don't know if I said it that directly, I said something about the frequencies causing problems for people, you know. I can't remember exactly what I said to him. It was a long time ago, but he said that's schizophrenia, you know. That's what they say. They don't even look into or consider that term schizophrenia could be just an NPD smear to cover up abuse, to discredit the victim. But yeah, that upset me a bit. And then I think I saw him, what was it? I can't remember what I was going to say, but I saw him one other time. We were talking about, he was telling me about Brazil, because he went to Brazil and he really loves that country, and he was saying like about trauma and how like Brazil as a nation had a lot of trauma because they were all slaves, and you know, there's a lot of abuse of their population by the Portuguese, and they'd all managed to heal. They came up with the national dance, and They dealt with their collective trauma by learning what's it called? Samba? I don't know. The dance anyway. And in my mind, I'm just nodding and agreeing with them. Yeah, that's great. Like, I'm trying to appear like I'm interested and like, this is great, but I can never say my part, In my mind, I'm just thinking, well, it's easy for them, that's the dream. Like, to have your trauma acknowledged, that's great. That makes it way easier. They're not being gaslighted. They're not being told they were never a bunch of slaves. It never happened. You're all a bunch of schizophrenic Brazilians, or delusional or whatever. Hey, Brazil, you've got the mass psychosis. That never happened. No, they didn't go through that. And on top of that, they all had each other. They all went through the same trauma. They were all there to support each other. Again, tick. That's another. That will make it fucking infinitely easier. We don't have that. People going through this shit, through the Governarch's Psycho Gov's fucking torture. We don't have any of that. But yeah, it's easy when if you're in that situation to have it, the abuse acknowledged, no gaslighting, you're all going through the same abuse, easy. But yeah, and I'm just thinking all this in my mind while he's talking to me. Apparently a psychologist actually came up with this way for Brazil to heal, whenever it was, or the 50s or something, I'm not sure. They came up with this national dance thing apparently, and it's like, I wanted to say to him when he mentioned psychologists, like, hey buddy, you know what happens in our society? The psychologist works with the government to find out how to break the citizens, not help them, to break them. Yeah. It's like, yeah, look up Delgado, look up, Harari types, look them up. That's what I wanted to say to him, but I didn't bother because it's pointless. He wanted to help me, I understand, but it's just like, he's not helping me, And then I just continue on my way like an angry schizophrenic bird feeder man, and I don't see the point in talking to people about this stuff, anymore. Really, apart from people online, this is my little vent area, but I don't like to cop that horrible energy, like face to face. We're human beings, to go around to everyone one by one, face to face, thousands of people trying to wake them up or spread awareness about this. It's so depleting. Unless I'm a psychopath and I feed off their horror and their anxiety and their suffering and their pain and their fear, unless I'm that, it's depleting me, It's not feeding and boosting me. I don't get a thrill from it. I don't get a thrill from feeling other people's terror. Just a second thing I wanted to vent about. It's a little bit different, but it's the same kind of thing where you gotta you pretty much gotta just play along or hide what's really going on and look like a crazy person and be seen as the toxic one because you're not allowed to speak the truth. And if you do, you're a crazy person anyway. So either way, you look crazy just because the truth is awful. What's happened with my family now is like, I've had a couple of instances where I don't know how it's arranged, whether AI hive master beams a thought into one of their heads or something. I don't know, but one of their, the friends of the family, they came over one day and they were like, oh, we're here, I remember your son was a fisherman, and would he like to come over to my batch and be my fishing guide for a few days and help me, catch some big fish or catch some fish. And so my father asked me about this, and I was upset, of course. I'm like, I've only been going on for the last fucking like few years of how I basically can barely get out of bed thanks to all these fucking frequencies, and um, I've got the damn Wi-Fi flu poppy. I can't get out of bed, and that's all forgotten, of course. And it's like, well, why can't you go and like, you know, go and guide for this man? And it's like, if I can't get out of bed or like can barely get around the park to feed my duck friends, it's hardly fathomable that I could like race off, in the backcountry after these giant brown trout that are just, they're fucking like unlimited energy, and running through like tussocks or rivers or like up and down on like backcountry tracks. I don't have the energy, and so it's just like a big troll fest. I just totally ignoring like how fucking ill I am, physically weakened by this radiation and shit, and being kept in the fight or flight and all that, and then they just think you're fine. They're doing that gaslight, like there's no problem here, you're fine. And I had it again recently with extended family. This guy, he's very positive, and I used to really enjoy his company and stuff, but given where I'm at now, and I don't really want to be around any of them. And he's like, he keeps coming around like randomly, or he'll basically nag family for me to like, take him out to take some photos of the southern lights, the aurora australis, or fly fishing again, or something like that. And it's just mental torture, like I'm never allowed to talk about what I'm going through, so in my mind I'm just like, fuck them all, I never want to see them again, I want to ghost them all, and then I'm the toxic one, seen as being the toxic one. I don't know how you're not meant to be, in this ridiculous society where everything's fake, and they literally will never wake up for whatever reason, NPCs or whatever. I don't know how true man is not meant to be toxic, especially when true man's got the microwave surveillance on him and he's feeling very ill, and they're all gaslighting him. I don't know what true man's meant to do, And to kind of like add insult into injury is like the guy who wanted to go and do these things, he's like 10 to 15 years older than me, and he's like hiking around the wilderness and everything, like fit as a fiddle, and I'm like, I can barely get out of bed now. I'm grey, fucking wasted, and they just look at me, like they never tell me, of course, but you can tell is that indoctrination is a great success, and they'll say, like, they'll assume, as everyone does, like, oh, he must be on drugs, or he must be drunk, or so yeah, I ghost them all, and I'm probably seen as the toxic one in their eyes, at least, and I don't know how you are not seen as the toxic one here. I mean, what are you going to do? Break it to them like, oh, hey, buddy, like, just to let you know what I'm going through, I'm just being neuro-weaponed, and, blah, 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 like, organised stalking, and, military meth gang was after me and stuff, and, come on, man, like, I used to think you could get through to them and tell them this stuff, but not anymore, So yeah, I just ghost them. I did have a big fucking outburst with one of the extended family one Christmas about it all, talking about military meth heads, and that I was going to use a really nasty word, but I won't. she just smiled. Like, she gave me this smile, like what I was saying was just totally insane and I was so crazy. And man, that really, I was seeing red that day, and I just fucked off, and that was the end of Christmas for me. I don't know what they think of me after that, because I let fucking fly that day. Emotionally, not physically at all. You do anything physically in this place and you're a goner, A little bit of reactive abuse and you're it's all over for you, Psych ward or jail. So I don't do that. And yet, of course, this psycho gov that ain't got no love, it'll virtue signal like, oh, you're going through reactive abuse, like, here's the hotline to call. Do I press 2 to report the neuro weapons abuses, is it? The directed energy weapons abuses? Press 2 and then the psych ward will come and get you. And there is no, no, that's different, That's not abuse. You're just a crazy man. That's not reactive abuse. Anyway, just a vent done. I haven't had any dislikes yet. I'm surprised. Maybe, it feels a bit one-sided. I thought Chief Handler would have turned up by now, and all the ones who love to mock us. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I just give the appearance that I just couldn't give a shit anymore, and it's not worth their time. I don't know. But I appreciate, all you lovely people have shown support. I appreciate your comments, and it takes a while for me to get back to some of them because, there are times that at home I get the vertigo and I feel really sick and I just have to get out of there. It's usually very late at night when it's, I get a bit of peace and I can reply. So, that's why there's a bit of a delay there. Be nice to be able to run the internet from my van, be mobile, but I don't know exactly how to do that. I tried to buy laptop batteries so that I could use my laptop in the van, and they sent the wrong batteries, and I don't know if that was a part of the whole shenanigan shit. It was when I was desperately trying to get away in time and they sent the wrong ones, so who knows. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. As usual in this fucking place, you can never nail anything down and be sure on anything. There's always the plausible deniable and the gaslight and all that. Anyway, I don't think I've got anything else to add. There is another way, I guess. You could look at it all like, oh, your extended family, they're coming to help. They're coming to give you a hand up and a lifeline, and everything could turn around. And I don't see it that way because I can't be truthful. I know I can never be honest with these people. I've got to play along, and I don't want to do it. It's quite a nice scene here. It's pretty cool seeing the ducks flying in before, like how they drop down out of the sky. When I was in my heyday as a crazy bird feeder man of the park, that's what I feel like I'm playing, just this role. Maybe that's why they didn't finish me off, because I'm already discrediting myself by looking like the crazy cliche bird feeder man. I don't know. But yeah, it's cool seeing. I'd walk through the park and these ducks would just drop out of the sky and land at my feet. It's a really nice welcome, They probably saw me as the chosen bird feeder man, I guess. I don't know if I'll say this or not. It's just a totally different thing. It's a bit dark, but it's like in Roy's channel, the Targeted Individuals United channel. One guy there, he had this wacky because all the organised stalking shit, it's always very different. And he was put in this town, and it was like the sheriff there. He was like this crazy sheriff, and it was this weird little town that he said was like, it felt like a movie set. And the sheriff brought him over and was like, just quietly, like, I'm sane, but I have to play crazy like this, or they'll get rid of me. And so I kind of think maybe like I'm being left alone because I'm just playing this crazy bird feeder man. Like, I don't go out of my way to look crazy, but just the white beard and the forlorn fucking castaway expression I have. Maybe people just jump to conclusion, don't they? The majority, like, oh, it's the fucking strange weirdo over there. Anyway, I'll wrap this one up, I think. It's been a very quiet night here. There haven't been any medical helicopters, thankfully. Really quiet, actually. I haven't heard any ambulances either. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how varied it is nowadays. Like, the bird song and stuff, like, pretty quiet tonight, but the other night it was very balmy and warm, and it was like blowing a nor'wester, hot nor'west wind, and the bird song was really nice. I don't know how the fuck the animals are coping, like, it must be damn hard, like, because they're more sensitive than us, and it's just the environment's so unstable now. I don't know if they're all getting wasted by the metals and stuff. Not sure. Just a nice uplifting note to end on there. I'm sorry, man, it's the truth, as I see it anyway. And I can't do this like fake cheesy, like raising the frequency, raising the bullshit level. Can't do it. Anyways, I hope you're all coping. You're legends. I don't know how you can stay silent, unless you've got a spiritual, religious, or some sort of cope, some sort of way to let off steam. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, videos help me, and I'm becoming more, at least the brain's working better now, I think, just by talking. If you're so isolated you don't even fucking talk to anyone, you lose it. You lose the gift of the gab, and I actually did fucking have it. I used to have it really good. I was even told by some married fella, you got the gift of the gab, bro. And yeah, I used to be able to before, meth head monkey fucking did his business on my brain. But yeah, say no more. Nice to see a few stars out at least. I might go back out to the lake and do some photography of the southern lights tonight, the Aurora Australis. It's another nice little reason to get out of town for a while and reduce the brain fog and the frequency soup. Anyways, nothing else to say on this one.